Abdul Helis asks. What's the sluttiest thing you have ever done? 7 other friends and myself had to bunker up in our buddy's tiny Civic, that's 5 properly seated asses plus 2 extra, which meant lab seating. The girl who is now my girlfriend sat on my lap. This was about a month of getting to know each other via friends, so we both knew we had the hots for each other. She was wearing a sundress with a blue lace thong underneath, so I was already pretty damn hard. With the right amount of coverage and rowdiness in the car, joke slapping etc., I snuck my hand underneath and pulled out my DK because jeans are murder when you have a boner. She elevated her body slightly to help me out too, God bless, I was hard as a rock. She did me the justice of gently grinding, pretending that it was just the bumpiness of our crazy friend at the wheel. As a horseback rider, she knew exactly what she was doing, and I started to panic because I was about to bust a nut in my friend's car. I was too sexually aroused to think straight. I whispered a vague warning to her, so while keeping in tune with the conversation she pushed her ridiculous equestrian ass against me and I did booty things. I must have come AF pint on her and on her dress because there was a faint wet stain forming on the back of the dress, so I could feel my C sloshing between her ass cheeks. I also ruined the ever-loving F out of her thong. I didn't know it either, but she came too. I cracked the window, put my shit away, and sat with disgustingly cum-ridden crotches the rest of the way. A furry pickle says, dude, sundresses are hot as F, it's my ultimate fetish. J. Biranon says, I've nearly hit a golden week, 7 nights in a row, with different people. I had to count 5 and 6 across the midnight line, even though it was the same night of drinking. Lynn 1987 says, this is so tame in comparison to everyone, but picked to my ex-boyfriend when I was in college. Emailin replied, you're adorable. Lanarpcomix says, I slept with a girl so she would give me the tiger poster that you get with a subscription to Zuabooks, like from those commercials. Paladin Luke said, I wanked D to an extra curvy piece of driftwood the other day. Camel Wallish Lover said, got a great BJ from a woman passenger seated next to me on an overnight flight to Tel Aviv. Never got her name and never saw her again. She kind of leaned over my shoulder as she fell asleep. She was very nice looking, about 25, so I welcomed that. The plane was cold, so I pulled a blanket over both of us. A little while later she reached her hand to my crotch and found my CK already hard. Not long after that she was sucking on me. I emptied into her mouth. Then she went back to sleep. Mr. Hacks 1. How does that happen? Internet prop. Step 1, be attractive. Step 2, don't be ugly. PM Your Ex-Pix says, I was at my girlfriend's apartment and she passed out, so I got a BJ on the living room couch from her friend. Jad said, girlfriend blew me and swallowed in the back of her mom's car whilst her mom was driving. Octopus_Tetris. Unless your girlfriend's mom was driving a limo, she saw it all. Survival_bases. 3 men in the same day. I was just chuddling from one to the other all day. In the middle of all that, I had a lot of chocolate. It was a good day. Gravity F1 Gder. What kind of chocolate? Survival_base. Lint hazelnut. MMMM. Chelsea like the hotel. I met a guy in a club and we got a hotel room. The next morning he was in the bathroom. I snuck out and went to Taco Bell. I met a different guy there and went home with him. Beast Quist. Went home with a dude from Taco Bell? I had no idea this was possible. Cody 54. Anything is possible if you follow the 2 golden rules. Number 1, be attractive. Number 2, don't be unattractive. Deleted. Sluts wanting to beat out other sluts, hit me up.
Baby shaker _on_ board. Bangs 2 brothers in one day, neither knew about each other. You can't save everyone. They will. Baby shaker underscore on underscore board. And they did. Archangel 071. This thread is inspiring me to lose 30 or 40 pounds and get sexually competitive. Birkaler Noor. Had a fivesome with my friend and some Australians because we'd lost the room key to our hotel. Edit, we were 18 and had just left school, they were nearly 30. Us 2 girls, and they were a girl and 2 guys. Certainly an interesting experience. Jeff underscore the underscore nurse. I had sex with a total stranger in a Chicago alley after I heard her say she was going to wank because she was so horny. Taxider Mike. How to get an STD, a step-by-step guide. Ace underscore Valentine. She has the STD, all she needs is you. Hemp Blonde. I have been finger banged in a club. I have been finger banged in a strip club. I have been finger banged in taxi. I have been finger banged in a subway. Oh my 20s. None of these incidences were the same guy and they were ages apart, different cities even. J. D'Amico. Weirdest version of green eggs and ham ever. Robo Ninja. Weirdest but best version of green eggs and ham ever. Cold Spider 72. The story is more than likely to get buried, since this thread is loaded with comments, so maybe that's why I'll go ahead and post it. I was in the Navy from 1993 through 2003 during a 6-month cruise in '96. My wife had a brilliant idea to become an exotic dancer at a club not far from a military base. I was not on board with this decision, mainly because it involved the side effect of cheating on me. Another reason being that she had 2 very young children, one of which was born just before I left on that cruise. I had to finish the last 3 months of the cruise with this info in my head. As soon as I got home, I fast forward 8 months later, we had been slowly discussing the possibility of reconciliation, but only when she had quit that job for good. So one night 8 months later, I had a couple of Navy buddies over for a cookout and some beer. One friend had left around 11 and the other one decided to stay over because we had duty the next day. My buddy passed out on the couch a little later. A little after midnight, my wife shows up with another dancer from the club. She was drop-dead gorgeous. The closest comparison I can think of is Olivia Wilde with Jennifer Beals hair. Anyway, my wife sees my friend passed out on the couch, so she drags me over to a nearby hallway and whispers to me that her friends saw pictures of me in my wife's current apartment, and after getting a buzz on themselves, decided they were going to come over to my place with the sole mission of banging my brains out. Apparently, my wife told her friend our life story and mentioned my hesitancy in the reconciliation. I guess they figured this mission was going to nudge me in the right direction. My wife also told me that this was the last night as a dancer. So as my friend snooze on the couch, we went upstairs, had a few drinks and then proceeded to have a sex marathon for the next 5 hours. I guess they caught me on a good night. With an hour to get to work, I jumped in the shower, got dressed, woke my friend, let him wash up a little, then we hit it off to work. About halfway there, happened that. After overcoming his initial skepticism, he eventually started cursing me out for letting him sleep through the whole thing. I kindly reminded him that letting him in on the action may have been acceptable with the bro code, that in this particular case my wife was involved, so no. I was tired as hell for the rest of the day, because our duty shifts usually last 24 hours, but I managed somehow. I ended up letting her move back in a couple of weeks later. The threesome didn't create any awkwardness between us, which is the case with most couples afterwards, so we were fortunate in that regard. However, we did end up divorcing about 5 years later for the typical reasons. I guess I could have simply posted threesome with my wife, but I haven't talked about it in a long time, and typing it up was kind of cathartic. Sinner Sense. When I was 14 I went to the cinema on my own. As I was walking home a blonde girl said she saw me there and liked what she saw. She was considerably older than me. So I told her I was 18 and banged her behind some public toilets in the park. We never knew each other's names. Aussie Lodcombo. Dude, as if someone is going to believe a 14-year-old is 18.
Mortian. Bought 3 girlfriends in Minecraft when I was a kid. They were actually guys with really bad voice changers, but I was a kid and didn't realize it. Anthony's 455. One year during Comic-Con it ended up being a 4-day event. I played 8 different characters and met with girls from the same series. I slept with 8 different girls in costume, we never saw each other's faces. At the end one of them dropped off a cheesecake in my room. I give it a 10 out of 10 and would do it again. Repressed nerd sex is a real thing and holy shit it is amazing. Carb anions. Not sure what's more impressive here, having so many cards placed for one event or the sex. What were they? Anthony's 455. Joseph Joestar, Red Hood, Nightwing, Frankel and Furter, Deadpool, Punisher, a generic Jedi, and Captain America.